Oh.
Action. Hi, good evening. It's Tuesday, May 17th. Board of Selectmen meeting, 7:04. Come to order. First piece of business is we'd all stand and pledge allegiance. Join me. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Announcements. Got a couple. May 15th was National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and this entire week is National Police Week. Please join me in a moment of silence to honor those officers who have fallen in the line of duty. Thank you. First public meeting of the master plan will be held May 24th at 7 o'clock at the Ayer Shirley Regional High School common area. This week is also National Public Works Week, where we honor our fallen, where we honor our public works workers. And it's also National Dog Bite Prevention Week. And there's a job fair at Nasoya Wednesday from 4 to 7. And I want to
Which is the former Vitasoy.
We used to be Vitasoy, Nasoya now owns it. Alan's all over that. Okay. Public input? Oh, yeah. Do we have any additions?
No.
I may add something on the selectmen's questions, but just more of a benign thing. So
Okay.
I approve the agenda as posted. Or make a motion to approve the agenda as posted.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Agenda's approved. Public input? No public input. Chief Pedrazi, Massachusetts Regional National Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Good evening.
How are you?
Chief.
Good. The town is required by FEMA to have a 5-year hazard mitigation plan. And ours was updated by MRPC. Each town used to have its own plan, but MRPC decided they were going to do a regional plan because a lot of it's boilerplate. So it took them, I think when Mark first started, we went to the first meetings on the updates of it. So it's been over 3 years in the process. It finally got through all of the updates and through FEMA. And it needs to be adopted tonight by the Board of Selectmen, and they have to sign off on it. Once you do that, then they have to send it back to MRPC. Needs to go back to FEMA, and then FEMA is going to send us a letter saying that we are now eligible to receive hazard mitigation grant funding, which is a big thing.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very
It's a
important.
huge thing, and we've been without a plan for about 2 years. They had a lot of change over up at MRPC in doing this thing, and it was a long project.
Do we have to do this, read this?
I don't think you have to read it, but I would officially adopt the hazard mitigation plan as worded. The Massachusetts Regional National Hazard Mitigation Plan 2015 update.
Anything you want to add? Works for you? This plan?
No, I would just say a motion to adopt the Massachusetts Regional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could just add, the report will be available for the public to view through the town's website under the BOS page. I understand from the chief it's 628 pages long.
Huge.
It's quite an extensive report.
I was wondering why it wasn't in here.
Yeah, no. We're not
You
gonna-
asked to read it.
we're not going to print it. Saving paper.
Hey,
Chair,
yes.
I make a motion to adopt, as presented by Chief Pedrazi, the Massachusetts Region Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan update 2015.
Second, discussion. All in favor? Aye.
And Charlie's got a couple of,
Yeah, we'll do them after.
Yeah.
You don't need them now, right?
no, I don't need, no, not anymore.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Okay, Mark. Mark, Dan, you want Dan?
Thank you. We'll have Scott come up first. So we have a few items on the agenda. The first agenda is I'm recommending appointment of Scott Schwinger to the position of Water Distribution System Operator. When we eliminated our sludge truck driver position, we negotiated with the union to create a new position, which was badly needed. The position basically was to manage the water distribution system, and then create a position that would be 50% in water and 50% in sewer. Scott has been the water meter, water technician for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Does a great job, very courteous to all the customers. He's been putting in, I don't know how many meters, we put about 2,600 meters in so far.
A couple thousand.
Yeah, I got my notice. I'll make an appointment.
And you know, I get a lot of great feedback about how courteous he is, what a good job he does, and how careful he is when he's working in people's houses. He's also got a lot of other talents, and he's always thinking of what can we do better. And you know, one of the issues that I've mentioned a number of times is we have a water system that's 120 years old, and as we've been trying to shut down parts of East Main Street to make connections, we're finding that valves are missing, valves don't work, we have to dig up things. So to have someone who's dedicated to making sure that we can fix the system, stop leaks, and really start managing the operation's a really valuable position. So we advertised internally. Scott was the only applicant, and so I'm recommending him for the position.
And Mark, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
it's more of like a hybrid position, kind of.
Well, so this would be, we originally were looking at a hybrid position for water and wastewater.
Mhm.
We didn't get any qualified applicants who had the wastewater license and the water license. So what we're going to do is we already have Brian Copeland, who runs the collection system for wastewater. So Scott will be doing the water, and then we'll hire a position to be the meter technician and laborer for water and wastewater, and split their time, probably a week or 2 weeks at a time in one division versus the other. Obviously, the meter reading portion of it's going to be less and less, because with the radio read,
Right.
it's pretty quick to read the systems. And so what will happen is, if this appointment's made, then I'll advertise for the other position and be back in probably a month or so.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. I make a motion to appoint Scott Schwinger to the position of Water Distribution System Operator.
Second. Any more discussion, Chris?
No?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank
And I'd
you.
like to point out, him and Rick are out flushing hydrants tonight, so that's why they're
Well, you better get going.
kind of dressed down a little bit.
The water department is quite busy right now, with all the various things going on in town.
We're finding something new every day.
Thanks,
All right.
Mike.
Good work, guys.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, excuse me, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
See you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Mark.
The next item is the Willow Road pumping station. This was something I think that kind of fell through the cracks. When the Willows built their project up off of Willow Road, they built a pumping station down on Willow Road, and then they also have a pumping station up in their development. The approval was that the town would eventually take over the pumping station on Willow Road, because it would serve that whole area as opposed to just the condominium development. And then condominium development will maintain their pumping station. When the homeowners association started taking over paying the bills for things, they go, wait a minute, what's with this pumping station? So we've been doing investigations for probably 3 or 4 months, and there was a number of items that they had to fix on the pumping station before we would accept it. Apparently the land has already been, the ownership has already been transferred to the town, based on Copeland and Page's review of it. So so I don't see any reason now not to accept the operation and maintenance of the pumping station. So that's my recommendation. And we would only pay bills beginning at this point in time.
You want to get it?
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve transfer of ownership of the sewer pumping station at 13 Willow Road to the town of Ayer. Is that good?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Great, thank you. The next item is the West Main Street Pump Station contract. We bid this project last month. We received 9 bids. They ranged from $339,000 to $339,600 to $510,000. Sherbon Consolidated of Amesbury was the low bidder, and we checked their references. I'd had previous experience with them on projects not quite of the same scale, but similar type mechanical projects, and they did a good job. So based on the engineer's review and my experience, we're recommending award of the contract for the West Main Street pumping station to Sherbon Consolidated in the amount of $339,600, and that's for execution by the chair.
Mr. Chair? I'll make a motion to accept Sherborne Consolidation, Inc. of Amesbury, Mass. in the amount of $339,600 for the West Main Street pump station as outlined by the superintendent.
Second. What was our budget on this?
We approved $550,000 at town meeting. I do have a couple of other, so we'll have engineering, construction administration, which I think is around $25,000, and then we just signed an agreement with National Grid to bring electric to it because we have to change out. That's another $25,000. So we're going to be under budget significantly, assuming everything goes.
Is the easement all set? Was there an easement with this? Was this
Yes, so what we have is we have a memorandum of agreement with Calvin, and then once we get the station specifically cited, then we'll have an easement agreement. Copeland and Page put together an easement agreement, and that'll be executed once we know exactly where it's going to be, because Mr. Moore's already kind of going, well, can't we move it over? So what I told him was once we sign the contract, we'll meet with the contractor and the engineer and really nail down the site. But we do have an easement agreement that he's reviewed and approved, but it hasn't been executed until we know exactly where we're putting the station.
Great.
All right.
Would you take a friendly amendment signature by the chair on that one?
Oh, amendment to my motion for signature by the chair.
Okay, second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so those are all the, I think someone needs to attest it also.
We'll do these
You wanna do them
third,
after?
and then I'll just
Yeah.
do them after that work.
Do them afterwards.
Yeah.
The next contract is our paving contract. What we do for our Chapter 90 paving is we go out for bids every 3 years, but we execute only 1 year at a time in case we want to cancel the contract and rebid it. And we also bid it as a group. So I put the documents together for the town of Ayer, Shirley, Harvard, and Devons. We bid it with all the quantities, and then we break out our quantities for 2016 and put a contract together. We had quite a bit of interest. We got 9 bids, and PJ Albert from Fitchburg was the low bidder. My estimate for the total amount, let's see if I can find that, for 2016 is $315,684 based on the roads that we're proposing to do. We may delay a little of that because we're finding some drainage issues we might need to fix before we actually do all the paving. But we do have enough money in our Chapter 90 account to cover that.
315,684, I think. That's on it.
Mm-hmm.
315,684.
So was it advantageous to combine
Yes, yeah,
the towns?
yeah.
And they did Central last year, right? Was that
They did Copeland and Central and Groton Harvard Road last year. This year, we're proposing to do Calvin Street, which we don't have any issues right now. We can do that right away. And then we're also looking at Washington Street, but we've got a little bit of drainage we have to do on that before we, and that would be from Moore Drive up to about Nashua Street for the first phase of that project in front of the school.
Mhm.
And then we're also going to use some of the money on Pleasant Street. We have the CDBG grant for that, but we also need to use some of the Chapter 90 on that. And we have another little piece of Pleasant Street that we dug up for water a couple of years ago we're going to redo.
So Mark, is all the water and sewer all set up on Washington, that side up there? Because I know we did some replacement.
The water's fine, the sewer's fine. We've found the drains, as usual, is not what we think it is.
Right.
So so we have to do a little bit of drainage work, and Dan and I are working out how much that's going to cost. It's basically one place the drain is in bad shape. We TV'd it and it's in pretty bad shape, so we have to replace it. And there's another place where we have, instead of one drain going across the road to the other drain to an outfall, there's 2 pipes going out. So
Okay.
we're gonna fix that. But it's not a big deal. It's just a matter of
It's not
getting
someone
it.
digging a dig up afterward?
Oh, no.
Okay.
And that's for execution by the board, and that's for just 2016. I mean, execution by the chair, excuse me.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take the turn.
Sure. Make a motion that we accept PJ Albert, Inc. of Fitchburg for the road projects of 2016, Calvin Street, Washington Street, Pleasant Street, for the sum of $315,684,000 for signature by the board.
By the chair.
By the chair.
Second. Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That's,
Pleasant Street.
and then I'm going to ask the town engineer to present the next
Okay,
contract.
Dan,
good evening, Dan.
How are you?
All right, so another contract, Pleasant Street Reconstruction Project. This is what I was here for a few weeks ago, the notice of award.
Right.
So I've been in communication with Rich Yardy Brothers, and they supplied me with the necessary payment performance bonds and insurance certificates and other forms that I needed for the contract, as well as the signed contract on their end. So just here tonight to ask the board to execute, or actually ask the chair to execute the Pleasant Street Reconstruction Project contract for the sum of $833,566.45. It'll be signed by the chair.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Any questions? No? This went pretty quick.
Yeah.
We haven't started construction yet.
No. No, I mean even get to this.
Bidding and getting it out, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
We're going to have the town torn up before long.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can have more projects like that with the state, with, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, the one on Pond Street, well, I didn't like the,
Yeah, that was, well,
but it came out all right, I guess.
The
It
project was
came out
good, it
good,
was the
yeah.
contractor.
yeah, the contractor.
And it was really, and it was funny because it was really the general contractor doing the utility, when he did the utility work was bad. The guy doing the curbing and the sidewalks did a great job.
Oh, yeah, it came out good.
So,
Uh, Yes.
Mr. Chair, just a point of information. Dan, the amount again, 835?
$833,566.45.
Okay.
45 cents pushed it over the edge.
Yeah. And through the
Yeah.
chair, just for the record, this is being funded through the CDBG grant to the town.
And
In-
partially, we'll do some of the paving, because the CDBG
Right.
grant is about 700,000.
650 or so.
And so we're gonna take a little bit out of our water main
Mhm.
replacement budget and a little bit out of chapter 90 to make up the difference.
Anything else? Robert?
No, I just wanted, for the record, I appreciate
okay.
the that it's the CDBG as well, because I think it's a great use of the grant,
Oh,
as the board has wanted, with infrastructure projects that look at building up aspects of the community as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
Did you get it all, Cal? And seconded, no more discussion?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Thank you.
So I'll just
Needs to be
hang on
attested
to
as
all
well.
this, and I'll give it to you guys tomorrow.
Okay.
And then the final item is the execution of the contract for the installation of wastewater pumping station cellular RTUs. We were here a couple meetings ago for the purchasing of the RTUs, and what those are, RTU stands for Remote Telemetry Unit. And what that does is it communicates from our 18 remote pumping stations, it was 17 until tonight when we added the Willows,
It's progress.
back to our treatment plant, so that if we have an alarm or some kind of a change in status, that we can get a signal on it. The way we've done this previously is with leased telephone lines, which are very expensive, very unreliable, and don't give us much information. So with these cellular RTUs, it's a lot less expensive. And so we bid the boxes to buy those so that we would know what we needed to install. So then I put out a bid for the installation, and Weston and Sampson was the low bidder. And they've done some work for us in town before, and they're very good at doing this. The Mission people highly recommended them for installing their equipment. One thing I should point out in this, so we voted $30,000 at last year's town meeting, and we voted another $30,000 at this year's town meeting. The two projects combined is about $70,000, but $10,000 of that I'll take out of the Stony Brook, because we're going to be putting a unit in Stony Brook, which is one of the more expensive units, and then also West Main Street. So we have enough in the appropriation to cover the rest of the work.
Okay.
And that's for, also for execution by the chair.
Quick question,
Go
Gary.
ahead.
Will this allow the guys on call to receive info on their smartphones or on their computers at home, where it's not a matter of just getting a
Right.
vague alarm and having to come in for something?
We can give you the password and you can look at it on your
I'd love
computer.
to, in my spare time, absolutely. Tell the water
Yeah,
department, I'll just walk
so,
down and check
you know,
out.
and that's one of the
You'll call
issues.
forward it to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the issues that we have now is we get an alarm and they don't really know what the alarm is. They sometimes don't even know which station it is. Some of the stations, they don't know whether it's Oak Ridge 1 or Oak Ridge 2. So they have to come in, whereas it may just be a hiccup. And so now they can monitor what's going on from their home and decide whether they need to drive in. And
Now, is this part of like a SCADA system?
yeah, it is part of the SCADA, yeah. But it's more the telemetry, the communication to the SCADA, but it does have specific control screens for each pumping station and for the whole system.
And I know we talked about this before, that will this encompass the water at some point, or if it already doesn't?
No, we have a different system for water. We
Okay.
have a radio system.
Mhm. Which works fine.
Yeah, we need to we voted money at this year's town meeting to make some upgrades on the spec pond system. The spec pond is a little bit older technology, so it's not quite as robust as what we need. So we're going to update that, but that is, that's a licensed radio frequency. We looked at that option for these stations, and it was going to cost $500,000.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
I said, yeah, we're not doing that. 60,000 works fine with
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's for same purpose. Yes.
I would like to make a motion for the acceptance of the installation of wastewater pumping station from, where am I? Sorry, I lost my,
Pumping station RTUs.
RTUs from Weston and Sampson CRMR Inc. for the amount of $40,500 with signature by the chair.
Second. Any more discussion? Bobby, got anything? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
just to add why these guys are here,
Yeah.
I was doing some work over at East Main Street the other day, and I think I sent Mark a text. The contractors are fantastic over there. I mean, those guys, I mean, a lot of times you see on government jobs, you know, I mean, they don't stop.
Yeah, they're working
Yeah, I
right.
wish they'd work for Hilco,
Right.
because, I mean, that's just the way they go. I mean, it was nonstop. On target, gave them an off target, and they managed it and
Yeah.
kept rolling
We
along.
had another
so-
one yesterday.
No, really? Which is a big issue on Mark's stuff, but
Yeah.
very impressed, and they had no idea who I was. We just happened to be watching them, and they it was good to see.
Very good
Yeah,
contractor.
yeah, I think people are going to
He
be
might have
happy.
been swearing a little bit because there was some stuff that was.
I was
not
too
the
on my
way-
job, so they might have watched each other
But-
out, but.
And also, Weston and Sampson, not the construction side, their engineering side, has a resident engineer on the job, and she does a great job. If any residents have any questions or anything, the woman in the white hard hat, just go and ask
That's good to
her.
know.
Yeah, we asked, we were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
curious, and we were curious if she was working for, and I guess basically she's outlining all the stuff that they're doing for you too, right? So you guys can enter it once it's
Right.
all said and done.
She
into
keeps
the-
really
Yeah, that's
detailed
great.
notes. She was asking me yesterday about the hydrant in front of the courthouse, because she knows that we're gonna be redoing East Main Street. She wanted to make sure that where they put the hydrant was outside the limits of the future work. So she's thinking like that all the
Good.
time, just
Yeah.
does an excellent job.
good.
And so
Yeah.
if anyone does have any questions, they can either call the DPW or talk to Cindy right on the site.
Yeah, and everybody down there seemed to be happy with the way things are going. I mean, obviously,
Well,
once you get to the main
it's
road.
still
you
a
know,
construction
Yeah,
site. but,
yeah, absolutely, but I was impressed with what I saw.
He says he's gonna be getting past Pine Street by the end of the week,
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Really? Which week?
this week.
This week?
Watch him work. It would
No,
not
I
surprise
see-
me
I
if it was
see
by
that.
Wednesday.
Makes my guy happy.
No, I'm sure.
Well, once they get there, then he's got to connect all the services. He's got to test the water, so that takes about a week before because we need two bacteria tests that are both negative, and then he has to connect all the services before he can move to the next stretch. So he's probably still a couple weeks away, but he hopefully he'll be all done or off the main street by the end of June.
Good.
And if anybody still questions the project, please feel free to take a look at that picture Mark posted on Facebook, the old water line, the, what was it, 18-inch, which was about,
There's a whole dumpster of
Yeah.
it.
It's really kind of grosses you out.
Is that cast iron or is it
Yeah, it's
ceramic?
all old cast iron. Yeah.
Wow.
So, great. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Be Well Organic Medicine presentation for proposed medical marijuana cultivation. Want to come up, give your name, give your spiel.
How are you all?
Good, oh yeah.
Good. My name is Chuck Saba.
Chuck?
Charles Saba.
Another truck saver, I'm sorry.
Charles.
Oh, okay.
Charles.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're here today to ask for a letter of non-opposition to open a cultivation site at 31 Willow Road. We've been negotiating with the owner of the property for quite some time. I've sent some information out for your review. We are here to answer any questions that you may have with respect to what we'll be doing there, what our intent is, security, setup, benefits for the town, etc. So I'm not sure how in-depth you want to go or where you want to begin.
I'll start, oh, okay, Robert.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just add, we did meet with Mr. Saba. When I say we, the departments, as we generally do as an intro meeting, was the fire chief, police chief, building department,
Okay.
myself. They made their presentation, again, looking at issues of the general concept, any questions the fire chief, police chief had on security and so forth. And we did that a couple weeks ago and sort of did that departmental review of the general proposal as it pertains to sort of the nuts and bolts of it. And there were no glaring issues from the departments as far as requirements and so forth, as it pertains to the project.
All right, that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, we had discussions with individual department heads, or
Yes.
just that general?
The general, a couple held back and asked some additional questions. In fact, DPW director was interested in how much water we'd be consuming.
Sure.
Because it's important for the revenue of the town, especially given that, I guess, Keynes is moving out. Water is the number 2 cost in a cultivation site, as you will.
Electricity, number 1?
Electricity is number 1. We will be doing a reclamation system because we don't want to waste, and we want to leave as limited a carbon footprint as possible. Doesn't mean that we'll be recycling the water, but we will be reclaiming as much as we can. The majority of the water will be absorbed into the plant itself. But yeah, it is a substantial amount of water.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Which building is this on Willow Road, if you don't mind me? Is the one that abuts the Ruthier into the unloading facility or Paul's property?
This is Barron's property. It's 31 Willow. It's where the water, Neshoba water testing is in there also.
Then,
We have met with them, by the way. They're very nice people, and we went through exactly what we were going to do. They had no problem. We'll of course honor their lease, and potentially, if we're at the point where we may have to develop further, then we would make sure that they were taken care of and had a site to go to, or within our property or somewhere else, whatever they would choose.
And if I recall, as I drive by there every day, and sorry, but I believe that property has ability to expand, right? Is that
Correct. There is and I'm not sure what it means, but an approved, according to Barron, the owner of the property, approved addition. The engineering's been done. The city's approved it. I'm sure there's a short window on that. It's usually about 2 years. Whether we use that plan or not remains to be seen. It really is dependent on what happens within the state. All indications are that capacity is not where it should be. Production is not where it should be. And as more and more dispensaries open, more and more patients are coming forward with cards, and so the amount of product needed is growing dramatically. In fact, there was an article this week in the Globe about that.
Yeah, I think it was on 60 Minutes actually last
I'm sure.
Sunday, if anybody missed that. Yeah.
There's also I'm sure, I don't know whether you are aware or not, but there's a piece of legislation on the ballot in November to legalize for recreational use. Now, if that happens, the legislation is pretty in-depth. It's a pretty good bill. If you go, you can actually just Google it.
State of fortune.
And
to institute.
yeah, there's a lot of benefits for the state, obviously money-wise, and for cities and towns if there is a dispensary on the property also. I believe cities or towns can elect up to a 7% tax on products sold. But what'll happen, and you never know what's going to happen, because the state can obviously change the law once it's been passed, as they've done in the past. But right now, the way it sets is if it passed, and there have, by the way, been 4 polls done. The most recent one was commissioned by the Commonwealth, and it showed 72% in favor, 20 somewhat opposed, and the rest undecided at this point. What would happen is the state would say to the operating facilities, okay, you have a choice. You can stay medical, you can go recreational, or you can do a combination. And we would probably do a combination. It really is dependent, and on the locations, etc. But that's coming up also.
Are you looking for a grow-only facility, or are you looking for a retail
You know, I'll be honest, we were looking for a cultivation and production center, and that was what we were doing. I can tell you that, you know, with the legislation that's coming up now, if it benefits the town of Ayer to say to me, look, we would like you to do a dispensary there also, we can eliminate one of our other ones and do that here. It could mean a lot of money to you, it could not. It's really up to you. But we're really looking at cultivation is what we had intended to do.
So a grow-only facility where you would ship the product to other
Correct.
dispensaries?
Yes. And if it's a grow-only facility, you know, even if it's not, but we have no intent of bringing any attention to the building at all. No signage on the building unless you require signage on the building. There is not going to be a lot of traffic in and out of the building. In fact, there'll be less traffic in and out of the building with this cultivation center than there will with what's going on there now. People will be coming to work, people will be leaving work, and that really is it. You know, there will be deliveries leaving, and there will be some deliveries coming in with products, you know, packaging products, different nutrients, things of that nature, but not to the level that had been happening when Barron was operating 100% there. Although we will have more employees than they had.
Do you operate other facilities?
No, this is our first facility. Yeah. We are tied in with a couple people as consultants and that have done cultivation in the past. We brought them on board, and we have a few experts from other fields also. We're partnered with a capital group as a limited partner that wants to do a lot of scientific studying. They have an incredible caliber of scientists who work for them. They've done genetic research, things of that nature.
I'll be upfront, I mean, I wasn't for the last facility,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel that I don't want the moniker of Ayer becoming a pot town,
Mm-hmm.
which bothers me more than anything. As far as business is concerned, I'm all pro-business, but it's,
I understand what you're saying. Unfortunately, I think we kind of opened the door with
yeah.
over there,
Yeah.
Mr. Hilliers. I guess, are you local residents? Are you from this?
We're Massachusetts people. Our organization is entirely Massachusetts people. Yeah, we have a good history of doing business within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We bring with us, though, a group and a team that I got to be honest with you is probably one of the best teams there is in Massachusetts, either operating currently or that have applied to operate. We're involved with scientists. We're involved with the study. What we're putting into that facility is the amount of money that's going to go in there is staggering. You know, I know that there's a very small dispensary and cultivation center on Central.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that. I mean, one piece of machinery that's an extraction system that we're going to be utilizing is over $1 million for this piece of machinery. And to keep it very simple, you know, you put the organic material into this chamber, you hit some buttons, and within X amount of time, the machine is spitting out different forms of oil. And these oils, some of them are non-psychotropic, others have combinations. Depending on what ailment, therefore, is how they would be utilized. And that's just one of the systems that we'll be doing and putting in there. Again, we have no intention at all of bringing attention to this. The only way that anyone knows is if they know or if they work in the facility.
I totally understand. Thing is, once you approve one, the word gets out, and there's another, and there's another.
No, yeah, it's exactly what happened 2 years ago. I agree.
And from what I understand, 31 Willow's been in force, is going to be sold to someone else, from what I understand.
Well, not according to
Person
Barron.
close to the building.
Well, we have a PNS on the building, so I don't
Okay.
think that's happening.
Okay.
In fact, I got a call from the real estate agent today, who was going to be here, and Barron was coming here, and Barron sent me a text saying that he had a sick child, couldn't come, et cetera, et cetera. But as late as last week, we were corresponding back and forth as far as when we would be able to close on the facility.
Do we, have you applied in other communities?
For a cultivation center, no, we have not. We had a choice and decided to pursue this location for a variety of reasons. I think the location suits us as being centrally located. The space is acceptable for our initial needs. Yeah.
See, if I can.
Good.
I opposed the one a few years ago. We had a 5-member board over here in Central Ave.
Mhm.
I researched a little more. I voted in favor of the one that I think we just gave it was last year.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned about, I guess not concerned about, but what I want to know, and maybe we need to, I think I brought this up and I wasn't able to attend that meeting, about maybe a host agreement or some type of parameters for us, because
I mean, right off the bat, we lose 40,000 in taxes. In the building.
well, I think we made with the other gentleman was that the building stayed on the tax rolls, the public tax rolls.
I'm not understanding. Why wouldn't it be on the public tax rolls?
Because it is you are technically a nonprofit.
Not for property. The way that it's set up, if someone told you that, then it was inaccurate information. We're heavily taxed, believe it or not. What ends up happening is we pay property taxes. We pay all utilities. The way that the government has structured this is a very interesting process. It's not like any other nonprofit. At the end of the year, any monies that remain within the organization have to either be paid out one way or another. You can't take a bonus. You can't. You can hold back some for capital. And all the remainder of the money is taxed at the highest possible rate federally, which is 70%, because of a law that Reagan passed to try and thwart and put drug dealers out of business. And because this is still classified as a drug that's worse than cocaine.
Are they taxing those people on the streets?
It's amazing, isn't it? No, but what they'll do, like, for example, if they capture a drug
Yeah.
dealer, then all of their money that they have is taxed at a rate of 70%.
And I'm a businessman, so I respect, obviously you're here because it's financially beneficial for you to get into this industry, which is fine. I respect that.
Let's put it this way. It is one of the reasons. It's not the primary reason. It is definitely one of the reasons.
It's probably the number one reason, which is fine. I'm not knocking you. I am a businessman myself. I own 3 businesses. Trust me, I'm all about being as...
We are capitalists.
Yeah, we are capitalists. My thing is after looking at it, if you watched 60 Minutes the other night, I mean, you saw Colorado where all the streets were paved, stuff. So I guess that I understand. I'm starting to lean more towards, what's the difference between making a pill out of marijuana or oxycodone up at Bristol Myers Squibb. I mean, it's
The level of addiction is
well,
the difference.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I mean, it's being, and I'm sorry, I'm just going on a little bit,
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
ultimately, as Gary and I sit here, and Miss Livingston, she's ill tonight, what does it bring? I mean, ultimately, we need to get the most for our community to even entertain this.
Sure.
Whether it be a commitment to the schools or a commitment to infrastructure or what have you, so.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Look, first of all, we are going to be an employer, and we're going to bring initially, there's no way to measure it, 15 to 50 employees. All of them high-paid employees with full-time with benefits.
With all due respect, that does nothing for me, because there's a lot of people that come to this town and employ people, so I love the
I
fact
understand
that you're
that. I'm
offering
just-
jobs,
Yeah.
but that does nothing for my community if everybody's hired from Medford or Westford, or, I mean, obviously, I
So
want my.
if I could just finish?
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
no,
that.
I totally
hear
understand
that a
that.
lot,
Yeah.
and I get it, but that's not a selling point.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be adversarial with you, I just.
No, that's fine. I mean, look, I don't know, all I know is what some of the people at our meeting had told us about the amount of jobs that are leaving the town. We're going to be bringing them to the town. And the people who are coming, who are going to be working for us, we will give preferential treatment to anyone within the town, okay? And that may not be a big deal to you. It may be. We are going to be a major consumer of water, which is something that the town makes money with. We are committed to helping at the end of each year with whatever money is left with nonprofit organizations within the town, okay? Specifically with veterans, seniors, and children of schools. So we are committed to that. To what degree is very, very difficult to say, because you don't know what you're going to have at the end of the year. There are organizations out there who will tell you that they will give you X amount of money and they will do this and this and this, and not one of them has come through. Not one of them. Mostly because a lot of people going into this don't really understand fully what it's going to take to make this happen. This is not the road paved with gold that everyone thinks it is. If legalization happens, could it be? Absolutely. Absolutely it could be. But at this point, it really is not. So we are committed to doing whatever we can do to support the town. We'd like to begin with veterans. We've got a connection with the VA. I'm not sure if you're aware, but I did bring something. You can read it at your leisure about the DEA is finally approving first trials of medical marijuana for PTSD. And this has been a big thing within the VA. Again, our contacts with the VA, we knew this was happening. But I don't know how many veterans there are. I don't know how many seniors there are. I don't know how many students and schools there are in the town, but we're willing to assist in any manner. And if it's not those types of organizations that you want to help with, then tell us what it is, and we'll be more than happy to assist.
Okay. I mean, in no disrespect, I think we tend to get the military crowd, the veterans, which there's no one more than I respect in the world than veterans who have served the country, but I feel like we get that spiel because we are a military town.
I didn't, you're a military town, how? I didn't know
Well,
that.
Fort Devens was here for 100
okay.
years, and
You're right.
we still
Yeah.
obviously have a lot to do with that. We still have the reserve up there. A lot of veterans have retired to this community.
I was not aware of that.
So it's hard to, and I'm not opposed. I'm not saying I'm opposed.
Yeah.
I just
No, I get it.
I like answers because we had some initial promises 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It's been a while with the first facility about, and Robert, you can elaborate, but possible new police cars, things. And I know
We still do. He was here last time.
yeah, it was a while ago.
No, it was last year.
Yeah, but it's been, and I'm not criticizing,
No,
you know how
I'm
I feel
just
about
saying,
John, I'm just saying.
I know what the investment was up front.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have to have a certain amount of money in the bank when you start. And I know you have to have a place to work. And all that stuff costs money. And I have no doubt that John's gonna pony up. But, good, Robert, sorry.
No, Mr. Chair, just through you to the board, when we met a couple weeks ago, again, the focus of that meeting was really on the nuts and bolts of the proposed facility. But I did pose to Mr. Saba 2 questions that I knew are near and dear to both Selectman Hillman and yourself, Selectman Luca. One is the issue of perception. And I mean, that's ultimately for the board to decide, is this, we had Central, and I explained the history behind Central Ave was started by a local individual, and we went through that whole process. And then the 7 points out of Chicago, which is in the provisional status, still waiting, for approval on that. But the issue of perception we did talk about. And the second question, which Selectman Hillman I know is near and dear to you, is really this concept of the host agreement. In other words, we know that with Central Ave, he asked this board for a year of financials before coming back on the host, which will be October of this year, which I believe the board will hold him to come back on the host agreement. I know that 7 Point, if assuming they get through the provisional status and decide to actually locate here, is also amenable to the host agreement to be determined. And I know that when I asked Mr. Saba, he's not opposed to the host agreement. I think, as you put, as long as everybody is on the same.
I have no problem.
On the same field of that. So I just, points well taken, because they were points also brought up
Absolutely.
in our meeting. And I don't know how, again, on the, I don't have anything to really offer on the perception piece. And I know that, and you're not alone, Selectman Luca, with your concerns on.
No, and that
on
was my biggest issue
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with the Central Ave.
But we did look at the significant water consumption, again, which we do have the capacity for at this point, which is of value. The jobs, and point well taken, but the creation of the jobs, and then the taxation on the personal property of the equipment and of the facility, so. But again, I mean, as I explained to the gentleman, ultimately it comes before you as the policy board as to how to move forward, or how we would like to move
Right.
forward.
The only thing with the host agreement, as I had said
Yeah.
earlier, is that I'm a very upfront, I'm an honest person, okay? I am not gonna say, we will do this, this, and this, and never come through. And I will tell you that most of the organizations that are open currently have done that, for a variety of reasons. And I'm not sure that it was intentful. It may have just been that they were ignorant as far as what the requirements were and what they were going to end up with. So I'm leery to say, yep, I'm going to give you a new fire department, or I'm going to do this or do that. It's just too difficult to honestly say that.
Because I guess I've gotten over the perception. I think a grow-only facility is different than a dispensary, in my opinion. And this is in my backyard, obviously, too, down that way. But let's just say things don't work out for said facility in October, and I hope they do, because he's a good guy. Do you know what I mean? Are we stuck? Or he can't come through, or do you understand what I mean?
No, there is no recourse,
Yeah. So, do
but
we?
that's true with anybody.
True, but I mean, when businesses typically come to town, we say, "Congratulations, this is our economic director. Please let us know if we can help in any way. This is your tax bill." This is so unique, and I guess it has to be, what are we? Not to sound like an extortionist, but maybe it is to some degree. But if we're the community that's, being looked at, because I'm sure Ayer for some reason is, right there with a big arrow through it for a lot of people that we had the Colorado Mafia here one night. People that barely spoke English that never heard of Ayer before that came to look for a facility right after. So.
In checking the record, if I may.
And that was a joke, the Mafia. I don't know. what they
No,
were.
but you've had 13 formal presentations since
Right.
the inaction. That doesn't include all of the inquiries. I think some of it is a testament to the town in the sense of the central location, the proximity to the rail, the road, and the fact that it is permitted here in terms of there isn't an exclusionary zoning or what have you with it.
Yeah, there actually are a lot of towns are doing that, and they're doing it now. Some of them, obviously, many cities and towns pulled moratoriums when it first came up. They had no idea what to expect. I think as they've been opening, there are now 6 opened in the Commonwealth, and people are seeing that it's not what they thought it was. You can't smoke or vape or consume any products on the premises or in the parking lot. People aren't hanging around. It's not like a methadone clinic. It's a completely different animal. I think that has helped. But Massachusetts is open, and especially because the polling with the legalization for recreational use, of course, everyone from Colorado, Washington State, California are coming out of the woodwork. And a lot of these people are questionable people, but they're coming and they're doing what they think they're trying to get their feet in the door. We have been in this since the first go around. We've been pushing this for 4 years, and for a variety of reasons. You know, when you say, money is the object, the reason that I started this was because of a cousin of mine who was a retired nun who had 4 forms of cancer and was dying and wasn't ready to die. And she asked me to help, and I had no idea. I didn't even know anything. I knew what marijuana was. I'm not going to lie to you. I smoked it in college, right? But I hadn't done anything. And I helped her. Once we could get cards, we got medication for her. She lived for a number of years more. And I'm convinced that had we been able to produce the type and the quality of medication that we will be producing, that she may even be around today. There is so much anecdotal evidence out there that shows people are being, and I hate to even use the word, but because I'm not a doctor, but cured of cancer. The Harvard came out with, they republished a study this year that they had initially published in 1993 that said marijuana and marijuana products are probably going to be the cure for cancer. And they just republished it because they honestly believe that everything's showing that that's the way it is. You look at things like Israel, which has been treating Alzheimer's for 30 years. Doesn't cure Alzheimer's, but it stops the advancement of Alzheimer's. It goes on and on. The UK, all throughout Europe, this is happening. So I think the whole stigma is changing. I think in 5 years, in 10 years, it's going to be in open practice. But I totally understand, that you don't want to be known as the marijuana capital of Massachusetts. I get it. I totally get it.
No, actually, I'm okay being the marijuana capital of Massachusetts if we have new roads and low taxes and new police cars and fire trucks and
so
education for, programs for our schools.
No, and I
parks
totally
and
get that.
investment in the community, because I
totally get
I
that.
see what's happened in Colorado, and I see communities that were completely almost bankrupt that have now transformed themselves.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I asked and I really, again, did not want to do a dispensary in Ayer. But if you wanted that, for example.
No,
okay, that's fine.
Because
Because that's where you're going to make the majority of your money once legalization comes in. Whether Central will be open at that point or not, who knows? I don't know. They've got very small space there.
I hate this quid quo pro quo stuff that I feel like we prostitute ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you a question. So what do you think if talk to me about your thought process on taxation of Be Well Organic Medicine versus another entity that comes in to do manufacturing? What do you think the difference is there?
Other entities, if I want to open a machine shop or manufacturing for tofu, it's not regulated by the federal government. It is not new to the state. When a machine shop wants to open up and employ 3,000 people, for an example, they meet with the town administrator, the economic director, obviously, the community, if it's, a new building but that's accepted because it's how we have kept a low tax rate, because we have a lot of industry and a lot of good industry. Your industry is completely different.
But we're gonna put a major investment into the property. We're gonna pay taxes on that investment to the town. We're gonna pay real estate taxes to the town based on the sales price, which is significantly inflated because of the use. So I'm just trying to understand if you think that I don't understand
Well,
when
I
you
guess-
said that we're not taxed, I just didn't get that.
Well, you know what, you can call yourself, I mean, we know how it works, and you can call yourself a nonprofit, I get that. And I know it's all regulated, and you don't have to get into that, but I know a nonprofit, but, I mean, your salary could be $4 million a year, if, based on a nonprofit. And that's fine, listen, I wish all the luck to you in terms of business and any venture you're in. You seem like nice people. My point is, you're coming to Ayer because there's other communities that would absolutely say no. So,
There are communities that would say no, and there are communities that would say yes. We made a choice. We were brought to Ayer by a real estate agent who said, this is a great building. After looking at 30 buildings, we had considered Leominster. The building was too big. We were looking at Devon's, and I thought Leominster was a little too far out, by the way. Amesbury wanted us there. They have 2 there right now. They cultivations. They wanted us there. The location wasn't suitable for what we wanted to do. Bill Ricca. I mean, I can name 10 or 12 communities.
all probably, what's the square mileage of Ayer?
9.5 square miles. Ayer is land-wise.
7,000 people.
7,500.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's a small community.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And,
get that.
and if you're not familiar with the community,
Yeah.
as Gary's been here a while, and Gary's wife's been here, lived here forever, Ayer was a military community. It was a poor community. We were run essentially by what Fort Devens brought us. This community has done a remarkable job of.
Not such a, but is part of Devon's now part of Ayer? Is that how they split up? I'm
No.
confused about that whole
No.
thing.
Just in a nutshell, when the base was decommissioned,
Right.
the base is under an enterprise zone, which Mass Development oversees, but geographically, portions of Ayer, Harvard, and Shirley are in Devens. But it's an enterprise zone, so it's its own entity. All of the taxation goes to Mass Development, to the state. So any development that's on, if you will, the territorial part of Ayer, the town does not receive any benefit
So
from.
when Gabe was doing inspections in part of Devon's.
Correct.
Or something.
Yeah.
You
Separate.
guys don't get anything for that?
No.
It's a horrible agreement. It was, I mean, we all agree that it should be changed, what, 2036?
Three.
Yeah.
There are some benefits.
I won't be able.
I don't know.
You know, from a tax perspective, I mean, you know, tell us what your expectation is.
No, I get we have a high tax rate for industry, or we tax at a different levy, we're not an even tax rate. I understand there'll be taxes, I guess, I see what other communities are doing, and
Most of the communities that are getting host agreements are getting host agreements on the dispensaries themselves, not on the cultivation sites. Some of them are on the cultivation sites. Most of the deals that have been done on the cultivation sites have never been paid out. And again, there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of organizations, out of the 6 organizations, there's a lot of them that probably will not be operating in the next couple of years. And that's from the DPH. There are some that the DPH is already looking at to farm off to other groups because they're just not able to do what they are supposed to be doing. And they're getting cited all the time, and there's a lot of issues with that. Again, you know, we're not that organization. We are funded. We have people who are experts in the field. We don't want to bring any attention to us. As I said before, we don't even have to have a name on the building. You can just call it 31 and keep it at that. The only people who are going to know anything are people who are working there, or people who maybe read the minutes or know what's going on with there. But there's not going to be any traffic of people coming in to Ayer to buy any products because they can't do that. So, you know, there's that also.
And I don't disagree with that. I mean, I don't think it's, no different than, in my opinion, in Bristol Myers Squibb and the drugs that they make. But it is new, so
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no question.
and we have gotten a lot of attention. And we bring a lot of it on ourselves over here, but we have gotten a lot of outside attention.
Some of us do.
Yeah. I just want to make the best decision for our taxpayers. I mean, it did pass a town meeting. There was a special town meeting.
For that single facility, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What is our recourse? And this is not per you. And I'm sorry. I had agendaed to speak about this, and I couldn't make it to a meeting. Just in general, not anything to do with you. What is our recourse once, let's say, these gentlemen, we say we have no non-opposition and they're approved? Are we out of the loop then?
That's a good question.
Mr. Chair, to Selectman Hillman, so to say hypothetically that the non-opposition is issued and Be Well moves forward with their project, they obviously have to adhere and comply with all of the DPH regulations and so forth. They have to comply with all local regulations, meaning that's why I had the meeting with the departments. I mean, it has to comply with the building commissioner, fire chief, police, get the whole facility up and going. And then I think, as has respectfully been the position of the board, like in the case with Central Ave and also with 7 Point, you're going to be revisiting with Central Ave in October the establishment of a host agreement. He asked for a year so he could get financials in place, so he had a better picture of what he could or couldn't do for the host agreement. And 7 Point, it's unclear yet whether 7 Point is definitively coming here because they have multiple sites.
They've applied in Westford as well.
They've applied to multiple locations and they're in a provisional status, but if you recall, as I know you do when we last left off with them, the expectation is to also come back and do a host agreement, so.
Just to, if they're in a provisional situation,
Yeah.
then they have to have a site.
Yeah, they do have
They
a
do.
yes.
But the DPH does not allow them to say, well, we're gonna go here, here, or here. You have to have a very specific site. So either they're coming or they're not. They can't be still looking at, or they're not in provisional.
They may be doing just retail in Westford or another grow in Westford, if you said Westford.
Yeah, over in Land, they have a designated area over in Westford off of,
You're right.
110.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a couple things with that, though, just so everyone understands. You can have one cultivation facility and then up to 3 retail, for lack of a better term. That's how it works.
Right.
So you can't have 2 cultivation sites. You can combine a cultivation site with an RMD. So you could end up with 3 sites, and one of them is cultivation and dispensing.
Okay.
But you can't have 2 cultivations.
So I think it would be best to classify the 7 Point project without them here. They have multiple locations, if you will. They have a specific location in Ayer, which is a raw land site. In other words, their proposal for Ayer, if it was to come through,
Was specifically made in the motion that it would be a
cultivation only.
only.
And they would have to construct that facility. It's not an existing building.
And just so that you know, I don't know who 7 Point is, and I'm very much up on what's happening. So they're
Real
not.
fast-talking lawyer, I know
Yeah,
that.
from Chicago.
They're out of
They're
the
not-
west side of Chicago.
I can tell you this, that we're not from the west side of Chicago, we're from Massachusetts. But this is a settlement agreement, okay? And I'm gonna explain something to you. In 2000, whatever, when the first round went out, we were one of 5 organizations that was never rejected, which is very weird. But we were not given a provisional permit. And the other 4 went away. They had they couldn't do the wherewithal. So we, with another 55 separate lawsuits that went against the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, 54 of them were rejected by judges in the Commonwealth. We are the only organization that has a settlement. And this settlement says that we are in siting. Once you're in siting, you have your provisional permit. okay? So in other words, once we are told, you know, if you say to us, look, we're gonna give you the non-opposition, letter of non-opposition, okay, and we have that in hand. We fill in the documents, the DPH then issues us the provisional permit, because you need to have that for the build-out project as you're moving forward. Now, the DPH is very, very stringent. Now, you know, when you said you could pay yourself $4 million, you can't, okay? The DPH has guidelines that stop all of that from happening. If anyone's getting paid an exorbitant amount of money, they shut you down and will not give you the permit. It's actually borderline illegal when you look at other nonprofits because of the way that they're handling this. But it's the way it is, and that's all there is to it. So all I can say to you is if we get the permit, we have the money, we're buying the building, we're moving forward. We're outfitting it with several $1 million worth of equipment, and we're moving forward. I don't know that anyone else can tell you that, but I can, One. Now, this took 3 years, so in the meantime, we applied for another license. So we actually have 2 ongoing. We are gonna have 3, but only 1 cultivation center. So that's our thought process, that's our plan to move forward.
Understood. I guess I disagree with the nonprofit to some degree. And like I said, I'm a businessman. Selectman Luke has owned several businesses.
Yeah.
We get into, we may love what we do, but ultimately we do it because, like you said, you're trying to, that's great. I you know, to help people with cancer, but ultimately,
Everybody needs to make money,
I
there's no
know.
question. The degree to which you make it and how you make it is different, okay? I also am a successful businessman. My partner is an extremely successful businessman. The capital group that we're tying into are monsters in their industry. And I can't get into the details at this point, but you know, eventually you would learn that, you know, who these people are. I mean, these are people scientists who work almost exclusively for Bill Gates, for example, in his world, whatever it is, project, okay? Because there's interest for a variety of reasons in saving people with Bill Gates, and so he's willing to get these scientists who are top-notch scientists to do things. So those are some of the people who we're involved with. We're not fly-by-night, we're not a mafia by any means. Do we need to make money? Absolutely we need to make money. I need to pay a mortgage like anyone else does. But, you know, we're not in this to bilk anyone. That's for sure.
Do you have a question, ma'am?
Elizabeth Tennessee, Church Street. I was wondering more about the water aspect because you said you want recycling. So how is that going to affect?
So, could you say that again? I'm sorry.
I was more.
Can you excuse me? I just.
No, that's fine.
I'm concerned about the water aspect.
Yeah.
You said that you weren't recycling, and is that a lot of output?
The reason, and that's a great question. We will be reclaiming whatever we can reclaim. But we're not going to really recycle water because the water goes into the soil with nutrients for the plants to grow. So the plant's absorbing the water. So it's kind of like, you know, you pour water in a plant at home, right? Some of it leaks out. Okay, what do you do with that, right? Are you going to get it and put it in a bin and then filter it? No, because the plant's going to absorb it again. So we're going to be using an enormous amount of water, but we're not going to be using the sewerage system. So in other words, we're not expelling the water. Some industries, when people talk about reclaimed water, it's like some industries, a lot of chemical industries do washings, flush things out, and then they'll take that water because it's either going to go down the sewer or they recycle it and refilter it, etc. So any way that we can recycle water, we will. Any way that we can save electricity, we will. One of the things that we liked about this building, by the way, is that Barron reinforced the roof, when he put the new roof on several years ago, for a potential of solar panels. I don't know whether we're gonna go solar panels or not, because the jury's out on that. But there's a lot of interesting things happening with energy that we will be looking at and utilizing.
It's more of what's coming out, because I mean, when it goes.
Exactly.
Like it goes through the plant and it's still muddy, so it wouldn't be 100% if it goes.
Well, whatever, anything, there's not gonna be a lot of water left from the plant, let's put it that way. And then one thing that we would also like to do is, there's a variety of methods that dispensaries use for composting the organic matter and the soil and the excess waters, et cetera. And we definitely will be doing that also, because again, we do want to keep the carbon footprint as clean as we possibly can.
Would that be
Any
under
other
the
questions,
conservation purview out there?
Oh, wait.
There's that little brook that runs into, next to the Pan Am facility. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't care, I'm just asking,
Through the chair, I'm not sure, but as
Okay.
you know, Selectman Hillman, if the facility is in the aquifer protection zone or if there's any
which I
conservation,
think
that's
it
what
is, yeah.
they'll have to adhere to that on the local
Okay.
level.
No, I understand that they will. I guess maybe I'm probably articulating it wrong because I'm tired and haven't really thought about it much, but if you were a machine shop and you were going to employ 150 people, you would not be here before us asking for our permission. I mean, you may talk to the town administrator, the economic director, and that'd be great. There's 150 more jobs, obviously.
Chip.
Yeah, I mean, we've brought some fantastic businesses into this community. To name a few, L3, Cantina, we
Yeah.
could, the list goes on, and businesses that are still coming.
Cane's,
Those-
Pepsi.
Cane's, Pepsi, yeah, you name it. Bacon Joy, yeah, exactly. Those businesses do a lot for the community. They don't have to. I mean, Ms. Antonellis can tell you there's the list that always contributes to various things in town, whether it be 4th of July. They don't have to. Your business, I guess, is slightly different because ultimately it's new. And we do have some control over it. I mean, I can't tell a machine shop they can't come to town.
Correct.
I own an HVAC business. I can't sit here and say, I'm sorry, I own Ayer.
Correct. Yeah.
Your business, we do have some control over, and whether it be, I guess, and this is something for the board, whether it be drug education programs for the schools, or investment in programs at the school, investment in programs in the town for the seniors.
It's all in our plan.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, and I'm sure it is, but I guess I have to have some type of
Guarantee?
guarantee. I mean, it
Sure.
is, you're coming here for a reason, I guess, and I get that, and I respect the fact that you're willing, I mean, this is probably not something that's a foregone conclusion that you'll make money at. I'm sure it's a risk.
It's a big risk. Let me just say this, okay? So our board of VWell has a person whose job exclusively is education. Okay, so she's an educator to begin with, and her job would be to assist in the community with drug education, okay, and also with the educational tools for people who are coming to get the products, okay, so how do you use it, what it's used for, all of that sort of stuff. We're definitely committed, as I said at the beginning, and you change anything you want, but we're committed. The three things that we feel are the most impactful are, number one, veterans, and I swear to God, I did not know that this was a big veteran town. I absolutely did not.
However, I will say, and I'm sorry, and I agree with you, the veteran thing is something that everybody obviously has on the forefront of their brains with the last,
Yeah, well, because of
the last
there's
15
no
years
question.
of, yeah.
Look,
So,
you
a good thing.
ever hear
what's that?
It's a good thing that it's on the forefront.
No, and I agree, I couldn't agree more, but I'm just saying, I mean, we've heard this, you're not the first one that's in here
I
that says,
understand. So you remember George Bush First George Bush.
Yeah, I voted for
Remember he
both of
had-
them, yeah.
Remember he had 1,000 points of lights?
Mhm.
Okay, so I was nominated to be 1,000 point of light. I went to DC and met with him and with 1,000 other people, okay? Because I had started, this was during the first Gulf War, okay, and I started an organization called From the Heart. If you remember the first Gulf War, it was the first war that was televised, which was very scary. But more importantly, it was the first war where people who were not active duty were commissioned and taken out of their practices as dentists, doctors, carpenters, electricians, and sent to Saudi Arabia and Iraq, etc., Kuwait. And there were no cell phones at the time, and families were losing their houses, and they couldn't communicate with their husbands mostly, who were there. So we started this organization, okay, that raised money to pay mortgages, pay rent, to set up banks of phones so that people could talk to each other. And I never wanted anything out of it. Nobody knows that. You know how many people know that? Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever's here. I don't know if CJ, who's my son, even knew that. Okay, because you don't do things like that because you want accolades. You do them for the right reason. Okay, and the only reason I'm telling you that now is because I want you to truly understand that I am not a liar. I am not someone who will blow smoke up anyone's nostrils.
I'm not questioning your
I will
integrity
not do that,
whatsoever.
okay? I just don't. We feel veterans, children in schools, and seniors are people who have needs that we want to support. And I said that the first thing I said to you. If you want other things like police departments or something like that, we can throw that in the mix. My point is, at the end of the year, after our salaries and after we've put investments in and we've bought all the equipment, whatever is left for money is either going to go to the government at 70% taxes or be given away. Look it up. That is factual. That is the truth.
Well, I would much rather you give it to us.
And so would I, because what am I going to do with it? I don't want to give it to the government. So, but I can't honestly tell you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you like other organizations, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because I have no idea what a year is going to bring. I just don't. I'm not very good at fortune telling.
I don't think anybody does.
No.
And
But
if they are, they're lying.
Thank
No,
you.
I know.
That's what thank you. But you pick what are the needs? What do you think? When I say needs, okay, I don't think about it like, you know, well, we want a new road. What are the needs for people within your community? And you tell us, and we will do everything we can to support it. But things like drug education, we are there. That is in our plan. I mean, we have a plan, and depending, it may or may not work in this community, you know, for things like, we have this whole thing for military, because there's so many military that have come back from wars, amputees, and et cetera, and PTSD is one of the biggest thing ever, and we know that marijuana helps these patients in a variety of ways. We also know that yoga helps these patients. So we have, you know, plans on doing yoga treatments and going to senior centers and doing things like that for the people in the community. It's giving back. We would give back whether someone told us we had to or not, we would be giving back. But I would rather give more back than pay Uncle Sam at the rate of 70%. Don't get me wrong, I understand you need to pay taxes, I pay taxes, but 70%, come on.
No, I agree.
But tell us what it is that you'd like us to do.
No, I can think of 1,000 things
Well-
I'd love you to do, but starting with an athletic field at the school. But anyways, that's a no. And I guess that's where the discussion comes between us, because I heard it. I mean, we had a heated debate 2 years ago. It was 3 years ago now, about the gentleman over here who was a great guy. He's a local man. His kids went to the schools. He's involved in the community. He does a lot for the town. Obviously, that helped
Lip
him.
sync. Is he involved in lip sync?
No,
too?
that's me.
Oh, okay.
That's me. I sponsor that. but I don't pay
You're talking
70.
about central capacity.
Yes. So that, I completely opposed. It was a stigma thing for me. I grew up in a neighboring town when Ayer wasn't exactly what Ayer is now. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it was different than it is today. I think we have more potential than any town in the state, quite honestly, right now, where we are at the moment, but that's my arrogance talking about our community. But, and I supported the second facility. I guess my question is, I don't want to be, and I think you're genuine, I do. You're not here with a lawyer. The last people here, the lawyer talked so fast, I don't think we knew who we were when it was done.
I'm not a fan of no one here is a lawyer.
But I don't want to make promises, because we're going to hear it. Gary hears it. Gary probably hears it more than I do over at the post office because he's got everybody coming in and out through the community. I hear it from parents. Obviously, I have school-aged children and all pretty soon all three schools. So I guess I need to be able to say why we want this here.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where I'm at.
Well, I will tell you this, that I honestly believe that we will give back more to this community than you can imagine. Just because of who I am and who the people who I have in our organization are. And you know what? Anyone can say that.
No, absolutely.
I can prove it. I don't like to. Again, my own son didn't know because it's not a big deal.
Chris, do you want to have that discussion next meeting? And have them back to the meeting after that, since Janice will be here?
I'm going to be very honest with you. If we don't get some form of a commitment quickly, then Barron may sell this building at a cheaper rate than he's getting from us, less money, because he definitely wants out. And I'll be honest with you again, I'm not going to buy a building that I can't use. It's counterproductive. And I'm not threatening anyone. I'm just saying I would much prefer something a little, something quicker. If you need me to come back, if you need us to come back to talk to other people or to do, I'll gladly do that. But, I can't do 3 more meetings, 3 more months. It just doesn't work.
What, I guess, to ask to you guys, what is our, let's just say we grant them a what is it?
Letter of non-opposition.
Don't take this the wrong way. Do we still have time? I mean, can we still negotiate? Are we still driving the bus if they get approved? Or is it they move in like a machine shop, like I said, or a tofu factory or whatever? Do you understand what I mean? Based on the nature of their business and the proximity to our next town, because they're right on the line there.
So,
I guess that's the question I have. So
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, through the chair, your question is, again, hypothetically, if there was a letter of non-opposition, this gentleman would move forward with his project through the process with DPH, including the acquisition of the building with the property owner. He'd have to comply, as you gentlemen know, with all of our bylaws, regulations, everything that the chief requires in terms of fire suppression, security, all of that.
Yep, and as you may not know, our chiefs are top notch with this stuff. We have no doubt that they're going to make sure you are secure and safe and all that. So that's not an issue.
So,
for me,
and you have the gentleman here, I mean, at least in the public record, saying that he is amenable to doing a host agreement. I mean, so.
What it is.
Right, I mean.
I've asked you, and you need to really tell me what it is and how you want our participation.
And I think that's where Selectman Luca was going with. We haven't had a chance, and for various reasons, we had town meeting
I wasn't able to make it to the previous meeting. I don't know if you gentlemen were able to attend that meeting. Miss Livingston is ill tonight, which obviously we don't have a full board. I just want to make sure we're covered because
I get it.
I honestly, and I said this last time, I think we might be getting into something that's good for the community. I could be completely wrong.
Let me just do this. I, Charles Saber, am telling you that we will support this town in any way that we possibly can. I am not going to lie to you and say I'm going to give you something when I don't know that I can. But we will give more back to this town than you can imagine. Now, I'm telling you that. It's on the record. You guys kind of figure it out. You know, you will find out that I'm a pretty good guy to deal with. You know, you don't know who the hell I am. I get
No,
that.
everybody.
I totally get that.
Quite honestly,
And
sir,
everyone's going to tell you that.
Ted Bundy was well liked too, and very articulate, and sold himself well. So I mean, and I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying that you seem like a nice gentleman, and I have a pretty good. I'm sorry.
Wow.
And I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying.
We're going to strike that from the record.
No, my stuff's never stricken from the record.
Listen, I was chairman of the zoning board in Methuen for many years, so I did many blunders.
It goes
Trust
to
me.
DPH too.
Well, no, that's what I'm asking. But I'm just saying. I think you're sincere. I do. I have a pretty good gauge of people,
And
I'm not.
the DPH, believe me, anyone who gets to the point where you're building out a thing, they're keeping you right where you need to be too. They're you know.
We're starting to go repeat ourselves here.
Yeah. We are.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for about an hour.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what you want to do to proceed.
What was the point? I'm sorry, Carly, you had said something, if you don't mind, about the DPH.
Well, yeah, a letter was issued tonight. There's no guarantee they'll be moving in tomorrow. I mean,
No,
it's
I
still
understand
gonna
that.
Go to DPH.
Sure.
That whole
And
process.
vetted, and there could be,
But as far as local control right now, I mean, they're zoned okay. They
Mhm.
met with the chiefs for initial input, but yeah, any local regulations, conservation, issues of that, they wouldn't need any zoning relief because they're fine
Mhm.
already. Already checked that out, but Conservation Commission, all those other.
and that would fall under just any business, correct?
Yeah,
But yeah,
whatever.
I agree, and that's fine, that's not my
Yes,
concern.
They need a site plan review
Mhm.
because it's more than 10,000 square feet or whatever
Mhm.
it is. So
Mhm.
they'd have to work with the
Yep.
planning board as well. So I mean, it's kind of hard, I mean, the process, right? So it's like, approve this thing that you don't really know what it's absolutely gonna look like.
That's my question,
Then
yeah.
work out the details, but yeah, I mean, it still has to be vetted locally.
Takes a leap of faith.
It does.
Right, and I mean, I don't know. It could get to the point where it doesn't work. You know,
Mhm.
the point is though, in order to move forward, the DPH says you need.
Yep.
And that wasn't always that way, by the way.
Right.
And that changed. We got, believe it or not, with the first round, we got a letter that was ridiculous from the mayor saying that they wanted us there. But we were deferred, but whatever.
All roads lead to Ayer.
Seems that way.
What do you want to do?
I mean, I would be okay with the non-opposition, and then I would probably put in the motion as a, I don't want it as a walk-in facility, a treatment center.
That's fine. However, I will tell you this, neither do I, but I'm gonna give you the right to change your mind on that, should you change your mind and say, you know what, we like what legalization is doing, someone's gotta be doing this, we want you to do this. As much as I don't think there's a huge, big enough market in Ayer, I would do that, because that could give you money. So, I'm saying the same thing you're saying, but I'm saying I would reconsider if you wanted to.
Well, I guess legalization throws it all up in the air as well.
Exactly.
Is that good for us? Is it bad for us? I have no idea. I don't know where I stand on the issue.
It's gonna be regulated the way alcohol is. You should read the piece of legislation, it's pretty good actually, but.
I have seen what it's done in Colorado, legalized. I don't know if you watched 60 Minutes, but it was quite amazing what some of these towns were able to do. I would support a non-compete with the based on, if we get to that point, with a negotiated host agreement.
A non-opposition.
No, I'm a non-opposition, but final approval based on a agreed upon host agreement. I don't know how you feel, but I mean, I want to benefit the community. I understand these gentlemen want to make money. I hope you make a lot of money. I really do. I hope everybody makes money, but I need to make sure we're doing the best thing for our community.
Again, I would be willing to accept that. Letter of non-opposition, and go on record as saying we will sit down and negotiate that's not a problem. As long as you're not, saying like we want 70%.
No, we're not going to ask you to replace all our water mains or anything.
No, I'm just saying.
Build us a middle school.
No, I understand. But
actually
I
not a
just
bad
want to make
idea.
sure everyone gets that. But no, I totally understand that, and we had talked about that, and this has to be a win for everybody. Let's face it.
Mm-hmm. What do you feel?
You really want to know?
No, I mean, I know how you feel. I guess at this point, because I think we need to, and this is separate from these gentlemen, is cap this. You know what I mean? We can't be doing this every 6 months.
Yeah.
So, maybe and that may have to be a town meeting thing, or I don't know if we can do
Get
it.
lawyers involved.
Yeah, but to put a cap on the population.
Quite frankly, I'm not ready to approve anything tonight.
Okay.
You want to wait for Janice?
No, I'm not trying to force your hand or trying to
Oh,
get
I know
Janice here.
that. You
for
know
her
you
vote.
can't. So
Yeah, but that would be where I would stand. I'd be okay with the host if upon a successful host agreement. That's right.
and I would not.
Okay.
And as far as a cap, you can't cap the
No.
number. Okay.
No.
No.
You can do something through zoning, maybe.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
say
because
where
you
they
can.
go.
Yeah, where they can go and.
Yes, sir.
You can through zoning, number one, for now, but the way, again, that the legislation has been written is it's going to be very similar to liquor licenses. So
Quota.
you can have a
Yeah.
quota
Mhm.
and keep it there. So you could say there are 3, that's all we do, or whatever you want
Sure.
to do, and then you can change it.
All right, and that's not for you, gentlemen. I
No,
mean,
it's
that's
not, but I'm
yeah.
just
Yeah.
telling you, because I know the piece of legislation, that's all I'm saying.
I would have done that after the first one. That's me.
Yeah, and then that's and it's funny because you and I were both on different sides of that.
Yeah,
And now
right.
now I've come around and.
Right.
Well, you're the chair. What do you propose? I mean, there's no sense of voting on it if you're.
If you want to make a motion, I'll most likely vote against it. I'll second it, but I'll vote against it.
Well, I don't.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Sure.
So you'll vote against it because of the quid pro quo?
No,
Is that
because of the fact we have 2 facilities already, and I don't
Okay.
want another
Yeah.
one. And I know a lot of people have talked to me, don't even want another one.
Yeah.
And don't want the one that we had. And actually didn't even want the first one.
Mhm.
But I thought the first one would be an interesting start. And I, right now, don't feel good about it, and I have no problem getting in the ballgame later. Because I know there'll be many more.
Well, true. But those many more might be our friends from Colorado
You're
as
right.
well. Well, that's going to do any good. But I will make
Wait
a
for
motion.
Janice. Good.
No, I don't want to. I'm not trying to circumvent the system here by Janice being here or not, because I believe she's not. I actually don't know how she feels on it. I
Right.
forget we approved the last one. I would be willing to make a motion that we submit a letter of non-opposition based on a letter of non-opposition, and how would I explain that? With an agreed upon host agreement if approved. But I guess, can we do that?
Yeah,
I mean, they would have to be, your letter of non-opposition, I guess, couldn't be based on the host agreement. The host agreement would have to come if they were approved. correct?
Hmm.
I mean, I can't say a host agreement, we want all this, and then,
Correct.
yeah. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Good.
I mean, in terms of the motion, just a suggestion,
Mhm.
the motion could reflect that the motion is that the Board of Selectmen issue a letter of non-opposition to Be Well Organic Medicine's application, and that the parties mutually agree to negotiate a subsequent host agreement. In other words, the motion will reflect in the record that the parties agree to negotiate the host agreement. That's, I think, the extent you can get to it. You're absolutely right, Selectman Hillman,
Yeah.
you can't make it a condition of the letter or so forth, but
I would say so moved, because he says it a lot more eloquently than you do.
Everybody does on anything, but, second.
No, you moved it,
Oh, I moved it? Oh, so,
so I have to second it? I'll second it.
okay.
All in favor? Chris?
I'm sorry, you just put his hand up real quick.
I'm sorry.
just a question,
Oh, yeah, there's discussion. Go ahead.
clarification.
Yes.
Gentlemen, what is, I know that your timeline is now, and you said time is of the essence, but for the sake of this discussion, what's the maximum amount of time before you have to make a decision? I know you want to make a decision
At the end of the month.
end of the month of May. Okay, thank you.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. 1-1. Motion fails. Thanks for the information. Sorry we couldn't accommodate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, just very briefly under the administrative report, administrative update. First of all, I wanted to thank the board and everybody in the town on the various boards, committees, commissions, employees, departments that was involved in a very successful 2016 annual town meeting. As everybody is aware, the majority of all articles passed except one, the budget passed. I know that it's an annual process, and I appreciate everybody's work on that, and we now move forward with the implementation of the various projects, including the budget that was approved. So I think it was a very successful town meeting. The nuisance bylaw, as passed by town meeting at the fall town meeting and supported by this board, was approved by the Attorney General, as I mentioned previously. It was approved with what is often the case, a lot of advisory points from the Attorney General. Those are just advisory points for consideration by the town. There's about 3 pages of them. So I'm going to convene a meeting of the respective enforcement departments on that, just to review that we're all on the same page, and then report back to the board, a brief presentation on June 7th, and if there's no objection, we'll proceed with posting, and then it will go into effect. The final, as the board is aware, is the posting that puts it into effect. But I think it's important, given the scope of and they're just advisory points, it has been approved, but that police, fire, building department, everybody's on the same page. I'm going to ask economic development to be involved, because some of it may impact businesses and so forth. So the plan is then on the 7th, give a brief report after we've talked about the departments doing the due diligence on it. Then we'll move forward with that on the nuisance bylaw. The issue of the super town meeting that Devon's Mass Development needs for that zoning question, I've talked to the director, Mr. Keyser at Mass Development, as well as my colleagues in Harvard and Shirley, as was requested by the J-Boss previously, and they're proposing to do, they're looking to do the super town meeting on this zoning question for Monday, October 24th, 2016 at 7 p.m., which is when the Ayer Fall town meeting is.
Okay.
They figured that they don't want to schedule it for the summer.
birthday.
They don't want to schedule it for the summer. We're the only town that has a quorum requirement. they figured that would be the best date, is the air date. It's not definitive yet, but
I agree with that.
Just-
So we call it early.
right,
Yes, call the
so
vote,
how it
and
would
the
go
11.
is the super town meeting would be at 7.
Sure.
And then our fall town meeting would be posted for 7:15, as the board knows it can't start before that, but any time after. But we'll get more definitive on that, and as always, Mass Development is responsible for all of the costs associated with the super town meeting piece. We had the first meeting this afternoon of the bylaw review committee. As the board may recall, you authorized the creation of this review committee to look at all of the town's bylaws. It consists of the police chief, the town clerk, Selectman Livingston, Miss Antonellis, and myself. And the board previously authorized us to engage with Muni Code to do the initial review, which has been done. There are a lot of questions. There's a lot of work to be done in looking at it. The bylaws, and this is probably a 40-year problem, and not unique just to
And
air.
solution, but go ahead.
Well, no, to Selectmen, look, we're hoping not a 40-year solution, but the whole group, and we will report back to the board. And also, one of the big questions is, as we identify these changes, what is the appropriate mechanism to make these changes? We know they have to go to town meeting, but in a lot of cases, it's basic housekeeping issues like adding a D to make something past tense and so forth. Does that require the same threshold at town meeting as substantive changes? Probably does. I'm not weighing in either way,
That's
but we
gonna be a
met this.
fun town meeting.
Yeah, we met this afternoon and we put together a whole list of questions for our council, some other questions from Muni Code. So that process will keep you updated. But as you can appreciate, we have bylaws that are in conflict with each other from previous years. We have bylaws that are online and in the record that are not. It is
A mess.
It is a mess, and it needs to be
Some that mentioned horse and buggy.
corrected.
Some-
Yeah, there was something
Awful.
about the coasting
OFA,
of coasting of cars that they've been using for skateboards. It's quite a history lesson. But anyway, so that process is underway. We'll keep you updated and ultimately involved in that final process, because there's no question that some of it's going to require town meeting articles to address that, but we don't have all those answers. The other thing, just so the board's aware,
Would that be spring, you're thinking, by the time?
would be, well, we're looking for who knows, but a lion's share of it,
2000.
a lion's
30.
share of it would be like a fall town meeting, because it's non-financial would be the plan.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the thing that we're discussing, we don't have this answer yet, there's a whole bunch of just housekeeping.
Mhm.
And so how do you address that? I mean, if each little housekeeping item has to be an article, you could have a 116 article fall town meeting go for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Or the Ayer is not the first town, I'm sure, to be looking at an update and a review. So definitely more to come, but a good working group on that. The Personnel Board has now, with town meeting over, is looking to do a comprehensive review and update of the Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual. It was last done in
2011.
2011. It's been about
April.
5 years. So we've been convening a group of departments that have been meeting during the day to do an initial review of the manual to make recommendations to the Personnel Board. The Personnel Board is open to any suggestions from anybody and anybody in town as well. Some of the things that I will be submitting that I think we need to look at in the policy is the employee evaluation form and system. I think needs to be updated. The reclassification system, there are some thoughts on that. And there's been a lot of good information. So if members of the board have any thoughts, so just let me know on any updates or improvements to that. So this is going to be, again, a multi-month process to go. The goal is to do the soup to nuts of the whole document.
Yeah, it was done pretty extensively last time.
Right. And
And
so,
I mean, a lot of it was fixed, so
yeah.
it may not be as bad as.
Yeah, there's some areas that need to be, right, but it's due for another update.
But we need to put stuff in there too that's more come to light as far as non-union, stuff that isn't in a union contract
Mhm.
that
Right.
can be
Right.
applied.
Yeah?
And we have to update, actually, this board, you'll be approving, it took some time, but at your June 7th meeting, coming before you will be a Corey policy and a sexual harassment policy. The public hearing was conducted recently.
I thought we did that, no? Oh, we passed the
You
study or implement, I thought a while back.
We
I'm
already
sorry.
passed the Corey thing.
Yeah, well, the
Right,
sexual
but
harassment,
per the
so-
personnel bylaw, it had to go through the personnel board, and they had to conduct a public hearing on it.
Okay.
So anyway, but things like that in the manual that need to be updated will be considered. So, couple last final items. Chief Pedrazi is we're in the process of scheduling the tank removal at the old fire station. Once that tank is removed and the testing is done, and we're hoping for a green light on that, the board is going to have to discuss at a future meeting, probably the 7th, how the board would like to proceed with that property. But let's get the tank out.
I've had more people say knock it down.
So
Maybe they can swing to the left with the excavator when they're.
And then,
I don't know.
just to keep the
This
board updated, on June 3rd at noon, the bidding process for the police station roof will close at noon on June 3rd. So we'll be coming, hopefully, to the board with a contract for approval for that project after that, but it's still open for bid.
With something like that, who vets the contractor? So I know with Mark,
Yeah.
we asked, but I mean, you know,
Yeah.
they always have working experience, you know,
Mhm.
to some degree. I mean, we've asked, and, you know, I've worked with them, we know people.
I think at some point you really don't have it.
Yeah, I know, it's just, you know, with that type of,
Yeah.
you know, project, you could
Right.
really be
So just
hurt by the cheapest bid, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as the board's aware, this particular project, because of the nature of it and the dollar threshold, is procured under 140, Mass General Law 140, which requires, there's also bid deposits, so that often eliminates non-serious firms as a non-refundable bid deposit. References are actually required. We have a mandatory site visit at the station on that. The review committee of the bids is the police chief, Mr. Sherman, and myself. So we've tried to put I know what you're saying.
No, yeah, and I'm assuming oversight by the building inspectors in terms of installation and.
Right, and
That roof lasted 10 years.
and as
It lasted a lot
virtue-
more than it did.
in the
It's only
bid
now.
document Mr. Sherman is the project manager on site. I mean, it is the police station, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
we've tried to cover all of the bases. Because it's a big project, and as I said to town meeting last Monday, we do anticipate it to come in under the 240,000 that was asked.
Well, it's funny you say that because, well, I've been told by Pierre, I wasn't in town when they voted it
No,
to.
no, was not here.
But that was one of the selling points, that this roof will last forever.
Uh,
Because it was made of a different
It's-
material.
And I think that was when Mr. Sherman came to Capitol, I believe, well, last year, Mary, if I recall, he explained that whatever material it was made out of was causing the price to be,
Exorbitant.
yeah, or higher than it should be, because, so, yeah. roofs
Lies can
last.
figure and figures can lie.
Yep.
So that's just a brief snapshot of some highlights. It's always a busy time of year after town meeting and before the beginning of the new fiscal year, but I think we're in good shape, and there's a lot of exciting projects underway, as you heard earlier.
Yep.
And a lot more to come July 1st.
Yep.
The only action item I have, Mr. Chairman, is St. Mary's Parish has a request for a one-day beer and wine license for their event on June 18th, 2016.
I make a motion that we grant a one-day beer and wine license to St. Mary's Parish for June
18.
June 18th, 2016, as outlined by the town administrator.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, we're almost there.
Yeah, we'll do it with that.
Yeah, we'll do it after.
We're gonna
Okay.
be here for another hour signing documents.
No, we're not. I just wanted a brief discussion of the 20-foot existing easement that the MBTA has on Main Street. in between the pet store and
Oh,
The-
okay,
barber shop,
Mhm.
salon, whatever it is. And I would like to see if we can ask the MBTA if we could have it
I,
and put some, either a little bit of park in there or a little park for downtown or,
anything. No, I agree. If, I mean, I think we discovered this on the whole, go around, but I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's useless property to them now,
Could-
150 years later, but.
could we reach out to the MBTA and,
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So last Tuesday, when I went to the Littleton station, Mr. Boyle was there. And I asked him, so just for everybody's benefits, that 20-foot small parcel of land between those two buildings. And I said to him, and we discovered this a few years ago, I said, there is interest by the town, would like that parcel of land for some purpose for downtown. And Mr. Boyle did not object to that. The issue, which the MBTA will also help us with, depending on what document you look at, it either belongs to the MBTA or to Pan Am, but both entities have no problem transferring it to the town. And Mr. Boyle said that their legal division would clear up that issue with our town. So who owns it? I mean, it depends on what map you look at. But there was no opposition to
Would-
transferring it.
would this be a town meeting item or is this something outside of town meeting?
Be a gift of land, right? A gift of.
Yeah, but even a town meeting, you have to accept the gift.
Yeah.
Isn't it just transferring the easement?
So if the board is and I
Could
know
be.
it's on the agenda, if the board has a green light, I talked to him about that more in passing, about some other things, but if the board is interested in pursuing that, we can
Absolutely.
get that answer. The encouraging news is there's no objection to transferring it to the town. The
Mhm.
question that just needs to be clarified, is it coming from Mr. Boyle at MBTA or Ms. Scarano at Pan Am? But both entities have no problem. It has no use to them for rail operations, either entity.
All right. You need a
And-
motion?
It's essentially just an exit or entrance to the
Mm.
rear parking lot, which in my opinion is dangerous right there anyways. I think it would solve
Yeah,
some
it's,
issues of cars pulling
Mhm.
out, but solve other issues as well. But we've been successful at pocket parks or in town or benches.
yeah, yeah. You get on that, will you?
I'm putting you to work, man.
Okay.
What was your idea? Do you want to make a
Do
motion?
you need a motion? Just do it.
I think, no, I think it's the, sort of the will of the board and the town.
Yeah.
Myself and Carly and Alan will get it together
Okay.
and we'll take it from there.
All right.
I sort of asked him, because I know previously
Yeah.
various selectmen and other
Mhm.
folks downtown have asked about it, so it's encouraging there's no red light on it, so.
It's nice to do it now because if we're gonna do a streetscape downtown too, I mean,
Good point.
it'd be nice to include something in there
Absolutely.
to be part of it, you know?
Right, I believe that when Mr. Wetzel had, this was several months ago, VHB did that streetscape envisioning, they actually had
Oh,
a
did they?
question mark on that little
Oh.
piece that something could be
Well,
done.
I mean, you see what it's like downtown with on Saturday nights in the summertime. It may be a great place for people to sit and wait for their reservation or
Right?
have an ice cream or
Absolutely.
just sit and stare at beautiful downtown.
Okay,
He's being funny.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I love downtown.
All right,
so we will report back.
you're on.
Just for I know you can't get into details. The proceedings at town meeting are progressing with MBTA and
Yes,
logistics and all that
yes.
stuff. Just
Yeah.
so people, I just wanted to make that.
Yeah, through the chair,
Yeah.
just for the public.
Not to put you on the spot.
No,
I
no,
know
and it
people are
just-
going to ask. Yeah.
The board is aware, but the public can rest assured that the will of town meeting as it pertains to the acquisition of the access and the Advocates Building is moving forward with due diligence and as is the project.
Okay. Great.
I must say this,
I'm sorry.
we've taken the bull by the horn. We've had impediments put in front of us. And we got it out of the MBTA and the landowner. It's their problem. We made it our problem and we made it work.
Absolutely.
And that was tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it wouldn't have happened years ago with
no,
other people.
it wouldn't. And kind of proud of the fact that the board worked as hard as it did to get it done. Not just us, I mean, just.
No, absolutely. But it's funny, you know, working in other communities and stuff, I've been hearing a lot about it, you know.
Yeah.
Just, you know, where do you live? Oh,
Yeah.
you know, good for you. And, you know, it's obviously a major
Mhm.
infrastructure
Mhm.
issue for the town of Ayer, hopefully that we can proceed with very soon, so.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
congratulations to everybody that came and showed their support. Again, more of a bylaw issue, and this is no criticism of the gentleman who holds the position, the tree warden. And I know we're gonna go back to, it's elected. However, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I don't see it, so maybe I could be completely wrong here. Where is the accountability? Where is the budget being spent? Have the trees that were flagged by our insurance agent been removed? I noticed one at the Rotary the other day that seemed like it could possibly be on the list. And how do we make that department more accountable and efficient? And I know that's a big question, but
He's elected.
well, you know, and that's great. And I know him in passing, and I've
Yeah.
had great conversations with him. Seems like a great guy. He could be the best tree warden ever. It's just we can go back and forth with this a lot, but
Yeah.
maybe that's a bylaw that should be revisited at some point too. Do you understand my point?
Yeah,
I guess
so
I'm sorry.
let me just offer this to you, Selectman Hillman. And the tree warden came to see me, I think, yesterday, because
I thought he would come tonight.
he saw this
actually.
item on the agenda, and he asked
Sure.
for more information. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's two pieces to it that you're asking. The first question is a governmental change, meaning putting the tree warden, say, under the DPW or under the town. That, as I believe you know, is a structural change because it's elected, would require town meeting to approve that home rule petition, and it would have to pass at the ballot box. Then the general,
which is
you
a
know
pain.
that
I get it.
there's a whole process to that, which ultimately the people decide, you know, on that change. In terms of responsibilities and so forth, as you know, it's an elected 3-year term position. He does submit a report to the annual report. He does not obviously report to me or to the Board of Selectmen by being elected. To answer your question, to my knowledge, as far as the trees that the insurance company asked for, those specific trees, and I can get the list, those have all been taken care of, and that was through the support of this board and the FinCom approving that RFT. In terms of, and he asked me this question, would I or the board like a different type of report or more frequent report? So I guess that's my question, and that was his question to me too, as to his responsibilities are to take down any town-owned trees that pose a public safety or health hazard, dead and so forth. And there's a replanting role in his position as well.
And removing stumps.
Right.
Back of town hall.
Right. And so these, I asked him about these stumps are scheduled to be removed. One of the issues is that his budget now needs a reserve fund transfer of about $750, and we'll address that. And when that is, these stumps, they've been all marked and dig safed out, will be removed.
Yeah, I saw the flags.
But
So I guess the fundamental question is there enough in the budget? Because I don't want it to be, I didn't do it because I don't have enough in the budget. Is it being done proactively? For example, for the people that don't know what town, there was National Grid sent some things about some tree pruning in town. And I happened to just see it and copy Robert and say, please go out to across from,
Westford Road.
I don't know if you
It was
saw
on
them.
Westford Road.
Loon Hill and Ralph McNibb's
Yeah.
farm across the street at the National Grid. And, I talked to Mark briefly, and he's like, oh, I thought sometimes they think we're just nitpicking. And if you see the trees, it's just absolutely
Yeah.
scary. It's 'cause they're gonna fall down, and our DPW is gonna be out there at midnight cleaning them up at some point,
Right.
because National Grid did that. Does the tree warden, does he need a bigger budget? Does he need more guidelines? And and I don't want this to look like I'm picking on him. I just want the position to be correctly
Staffed
staffed
yeah.
and accounted for, and,
We definitely, when I say we, the town meeting just last Monday through support of this board, as you know, have increased the budget considerable compared to previous years to be more proactive on both fronts. And I think what triggered that was the work which he did do successfully in the fall after we did that reserve fund transfer. So I think we've begun to address in a responsible and proactive way the monetary piece of the budget.
Okay.
He has never expressed to me in the time I've been here any questions of sort of manpower or equipment. I
Well,
mean,
it's subbed out, I think, which
right.
is
A lot of it, as it is,
Yeah.
has to be scheduled. He tries to get the best price.
Mhm.
I know the trees just talking about, because I went out on the Westford Loon
Yeah.
Hill area. And sometimes the key thing too with the trees is also determining, are they town
And that wasn't directed
Right.
towards him. I'm just giving you an
Right, gotcha.
example. That was
Town,
National Grid's
or they
disaster.
private trees, or they National Grid or the utilities. Because
Mhm.
sometimes, and this is not a shot at National Grid, but let's be
Oh,
honest.
you can take a shot at them.
Well, I'm
They're
just
brutal.
saying,
Yeah.
sometimes it makes you think with the pruning thing. But I guess,
Yeah.
so my question, as was his, is there's two issues, is because this has been brought up before, looking to structurally change the position, or their concerns with the work or the responsibilities. Just looking for
Yeah, no,
clarification
and
on
I
this.
wanted to bring it up for discussion. Amongst the three of us, or four of us, or whoever's here, anybody jump in.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? We need a tree warden. We need that by state statute, correct? We have to have a tree warden.
You have to have a
Community.
tree
Yeah.
warden. The question, which again is up to the people to determine, whether in some towns it's appointed under the DPW, and in many towns it's still elected. And so that's a structural
Yeah.
question.
Does it make sense for the tree warden to be, whether it's Mark or whoever runs for the position when it's up again,
Yep.
be in charge of that, but also do we hire a company that at a rate, so Mark oversees the removal or what he deems needs to be removed that is responsible for the town. Do we hire a subcontractor for a contract, that we have, as opposed to pricing out every single tree, or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so-
Does it make it, I'm trying to make it, because you know how changing bylaws can go, and whether it needs to be done or not, I don't know enough about it.
Me neither. You could make a salary of $1 to still have an elected tree warden, and everything gets done through the DPW.
Well, yeah.
I think one of the things.
He should be if a tree goes down in the middle of the night and people come out, I know
Yeah.
we saw an email a few weeks ago about a resident that had called the tree warden, and he went right out and determined that, whatever his determination was. I guess I'm trying to make it more streamlined for Mark, because a lot of times the highway department,
They have crossover stuff.
you have a tree that comes down in a thunderstorm in the middle of the night, so the highway department's summoned to come and move the tree out of the side of the road, and it
Yeah.
sits on the side of the road. Is it the tree warden's job to go clean up the tree, or is it the Department of Public Works' job to clean up the tree?
Right,
I know
and
it's a
sometimes- and then
bigger
sometimes they
discussion,
work-
but-
and they work together. I know
Sure.
One of the things I can talk to the tree warden about, which we did when this issue came up in the fall, and Superintendent Wetzel, Mark, Mark Wetzel wasn't opposed to this either, is we could look at, and this has nothing to do with who's elected, who's appointed, but looking at doing a competitive bid for the year. In other words, to get the most competitive price per tree to come down. Again, in his defense, the tree warden, he does very diligent in trying to get.
This is not a criticism of the tree warden in his capacity
No,
at all.
he'll
It's-
appreciate
yeah.
to hear that,
Yeah.
because as you know, he came to see
No,
me concerned.
no. Yeah,
And
no,
I
absolutely.
said, look, I think it's two issues tonight. One is the structural issue, which we covered, and then other is the substantive issue. I think that it would benefit everybody, the tree warden, the whole town. I don't think anybody's opposed to looking at a competitive bid for tree removal. That
Mhm.
doesn't infringe on anybody's territory. I think that's good practice.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the tree warden hasn't done that, because he has been very selective in trying to get
Thank
the
God.
best price
Give her a
on
couple.
trees
Yeah, I am going to.
and stumps and so forth.
Well, I guess that's where I'm trying to, and let's say new developments go in. I mean,
Yep.
you can get in, I've seen this, I saw it this week on a development. There might be a tree that's hanging over the road, and the developer doesn't want to take it down. I mean, the tree warden should have
Right.
jurisdiction along with the superintendent to say, you know, your
Right.
bond's not getting released if that tree's hanging over that pole or.
Can we check with other towns and see what they do, maybe comparable and?
Sure. Yeah, and I will talk to Mark. So when you say comparable,
As far as bidding,
Just
bidding
procedure,
out.
yeah. I mean,
Right,
it-
sure.
is it-
Again,
but-
me too, I'm not here to slam Mark. I'm
No,
not-
no, because I don't know enough about it.
Yep,
And
let's steal one of these.
Okay.
And I don't know how it works and if he needs more funds or if he needs to be more oversight, you know, with the salary and then we subcontract it out, because I believe that's what he does now, you know.
Yeah, and I
locally,
think,
which
as you gentlemen can appreciate, I think one of the things too we need to look at too is the replacement function of his job. In other words, replacing public trees at town trees. As you know, they're not cheap. I mean, even for a
No,
little-
absolutely. I mean, I
and-
think the budget's too low for what it's
So-
at now. Yeah, I know we increased it, but
Yeah,
trees are not cheap.
okay.
That's all. So
Well, that's
it's just a
helpful.
discussion
Yeah.
with the bylaw or however we want to proceed with it, I'm sure. And maybe Mark should come and discuss it as well, his thoughts, and Superintendent Wetzel. So it's not a criticism. I know, I figured I was going to hear from him this week when I put it on there. but-
Yeah, no, I know, your intent wasn't that way.
No, not at
Neither
all.
was I.
Please
No,
pass
I'm
that
not-
on.
I'm not saying that.
We're trying to make the position,
It wasn't, but he was looking for clarification.
No, I don't
because
blame
He
him.
has heard too that there've been people said it should be appointed and so forth. I explained to him what that process was, and that's outside of my scope. That's up to the board putting that forward.
we can go back and forth on the appointed thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who are elected that are absolutely phenomenal and no one ever questions it.
Yeah.
And if the people aren't as good, then you want to appoint it. I mean, we know how that works, so.
Yeah, we've been through it.
We've been through it, so I'm not trying to go in that route. I'm just trying to make it a more streamlined.
And lastly, I think one of the challenges he has, or anybody, or the town has when it comes to trees as a layperson, but from my point of view, there are so many public trees, and to replace them, it becomes an issue of prioritizing resources. I mean, you could increase that budget, and I think the town increased it a fair amount and a responsible amount.
Right.
You could increase that huge, and there'd be no shortage of work, and it's also trying to schedule the removal of these trees, because all these tree removal folks, I mean, if you've ever even dealt with it personally, are so busy.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so-
We were very lucky when they did the Rotary that the superintendent was able to talk them into
Mhm.
coming up the road a little bit and taking some of those big trees down back in 2012.
I'd like to focus too on plantings.
Well, that exactly. And maybe we can.
Maybe mention that to
And maybe there's, I mean, who knows, maybe there's grants for everything. Maybe there's grants out there for plantings or trees.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're throwing all sorts
So
of stuff
one
at you
last-
tonight, but, I mean, I'm sure there is some type of green community type things that we could apply for that, you know.
So not to be answered tonight, one final point on the issue of replanting. If members of the board or so forth, or public who are listening, have suggestions of where either former trees were, they should be back, or that would be helpful to know
Mhm.
too, because that would have to all be prioritized as well.
Sure. Yep.
So
Yeah.
send it our way.
Yeah, so I mean, we've been very, very successful in grants and
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to step on your job, but I'm sure there's some type of grants out there for trees or replanting or green earth something or other that we could be eligible for, or they might not exist at all, but.
Okay, I threw him under the bus a couple of times already, so.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's fine.
He'll get used to it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, one other thing, quickly, and this may have been brought up to you as well by a citizen, and I tend to agree. I started the Adopt an Island program, just threw it out there. I haven't really done much with it besides, we have to have some type of bottom line, I guess, like threshold.
Expectation.
Expectations, you know, there's 14,000 cars a day, give or take, that go through that rotary. That's some really nice advertising. There's some signs plopped out there with bushes that I planted when we took down some of the trees, you know, shrub, mums from the fall. Do you understand what I mean?
I do,
You
and-
know, you can't say you adopt an island and we plop a Hilco sign and let the grass grow and let the DPW take care of it.
So, real quick on this, what I would propose, we did this in Fitchburg, it was called the Adopt a Spot program, had a standardized application with standardized expectations, rules and so forth, with a time period, like, so when it was left for a month and so forth and started to look bad, the town had recourse to sort of recall that. And all of the signs were standardized too.
And I have no issues with the signs. I think the signs are all pretty uniform. I mean, some are triangles, some are. It's the. Let me go buy a yard of mulch and put a sign up there.
Right. So
And it's early. I mean, maybe these people will come through and make it look beautiful, but.
But would you be, I know that you had started this through the chair, would you be opposed to us looking at it and revamping it, the application?
No, not
and the
at all.
expectation?
I think that.
Yeah.
I just think there should be. At least a.
Benchmarker.
You can't just say, you know,
Yeah.
Mary Spinner wants to, wants to put Mary Spinner on a sign. Well, she just plops it there, and now it's Mary Spinner's Island, and the grass is.
She would plant beautiful flowers.
She would. She would.
Yeah.
She would.
Right, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Some companies have just, if you will, put the sign down.
Harvard Road, the stone that's there, I put that stone there when we cleaned that island out, because
Yeah.
I was going to adopt it and it got too busy, but the stone and that was there. So they put a sign in and planted some mums. Great.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of, you know, some type of,
A
keeping up with it.
standardized program and also expanding the locations too, nothing against. the
No, I
Rotary's a prime
agree.
spot.
I agree. And I'm not trying to task our economic director with more, but I mean, I think, yeah, we are, sorry.
You're not going to come back to these meetings.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Do you agree?
I understand what you're saying.
And obviously, Ayer residents take precedent over, you know, if there's 5 people for a
Yeah.
site, obviously, we want Ayer residents or Ayer businesses.
Right. Are you opposed to the standardization of the signs? I think it makes it look better.
I think that's great. You know me, I'm very
I know, you're
uniform
very
and
aesthetic,
square and
yeah,
aesthetics and, yeah,
Okay.
it's my thing, so.
So between economic development and community development, DPW, myself will take a look at it. Come back to you.
That's all. And it's early. Maybe these people are gonna go out there in a week and,
Yeah.
you know, really kill it,
It
but.
almost snowed yesterday.
No, and there's been some new,
Kidding.
there's been some new interest. Mr. Celeste from Shop and Save wants to take over the piece where Park Street in Maine is, you know,
Mhm.
that,
Yeah,
and really
No, that's
jazz
great.
that up.
that's
Okay.
great. And people notice it. I mean, it works, for businesses. People do notice. I mean, when Jose did, the J&S did,
Mhm. No, it's a good idea and a good program.
it's worked out.
Okay.
2 more things, just, I swear, quick. Great weekend in town. The Muck Fest was up at Devon's. You may be able to tell by the racing stripe on my forehead. I had a bandana on.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice look.
Yes,
on Channel 5,
little sunburned. The group that I
Channel
was
5 did it
part of,
Saturday.
the Mucking A's. Heather Ward, who lives up on Howard Street. Our group raised $32,000 for
Wow.
MS. I know,
Bravo.
Carly, you've worked towards that cause, so that's
Yeah.
Good
something.
job.
It was a great event. They travel around the country. I wasn't. It's a 5K through
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
cold. Thank God we did it Saturday and not Sunday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was great. I think there was 7,000 to 10,000 people that, I mean, from all
Wow.
over the place that come to participate.
Did you get
in these.
electrocuted too when you went through it and stuff? They have, no?
No, but very cold and
No, okay.
surprised a few times at how
No,
the
my
water was.
stepson did it out in California. They have like a little electric.
No,
thing, just-
no, I did get stabbed by the pin for my number, but
Oh,
besides
okay.
that didn't feel good. And also the Bresnahan Run on Sunday was
Yeah.
was a big success, and
Mhm.
all that money goes to ASEF. So congratulations on the Bresnahan family and everybody that works so hard at that. So just wanted to pass that on.
In the Postal Service food drive
Postal Service
on
food drive.
Saturday, we took in 4,000 pounds. So
Just in town?
Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
very successful. We put the bags out there. They seem to help more
Nice.
so. And Yeah, they were happy up at Loaves of Fishes, and that only lasts so long. I mean, by July and August,
Fast, yeah.
they're out again, so.
Yeah, the way my kids eat, that might not last till the weekend, but yeah, I understand. It seems like a lot, but you're right. When they
Yeah.
start spreading it out, it's
Yep.
a great, so great weekend all around for the town.
Sure.
As usual. So I just wanted to bring attention to that.
Hey, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 3rd.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We screwing you up or something? You all right?
I'm good.
Would I sign that because I was the clerk then?
Did you have something?
No.
Probably, right?
Did I cut you off?
I just, the minutes approved, I just want to make a final plug. On Tuesday, May 24th, from 7 to 9, the Master Plan Committee is having that first, I know you announced it, Mr. Chair, in the beginning.
Did
But
I?
if members of, it's up at the high school, Commons, which is right in the lobby. It's that new sort of dynamic phase.
That's what it is.
Space. But if members can attend, it's going to be a really important meeting talking about the visioning for the next 10 years. There's going to be refreshments. The consultant that we've hired, COG, is going to be there. And so we really need people to come out and participate in this. It'll be one of many, but it's really important to get that public involvement in the process.
Okay.
Great.
Anything else?
No.
Do you have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.